So, my grandmother, my Baba, used to use sugar sacks and flour sacks to um, reuse them and make them into household items and skirts and shirts for her family. Back when they were experiencing the Depression, um, finding money and finding resources is pretty slim. And when you have many children that you're looking after and running a farm and things like that, it just makes sense to make use of these things. Flour sacks and sugar sacks back then were made out of thin cotton. So I know it's in my blood to be, doing this kind of work, this reworking and mending and embroidery and things like that. Having said that, there's something really important to learn that we don't get the opportunity to learn oftentimes when we've been trained into a throwaway culture. So all the things that we throw away, and even when we think that we're doing well by recycling, statistically speaking, a lot of the stuff that we recycle just doesn't get recycled. So it goes into landfills. Learning that there is value in the items that we interact with, learning to make use of those and reuse them in different ways, I think is really important. This piece that I'm taking apart, I didn't realize until I started taking it apart that it's hand sewn. Like every part of it is hand sewn. All the seams are done with beautiful stitch work. And yes, I am taking it apart because there's a few worn spots that I can't easily mend, and this fabric can be reused. It's beautiful fabric. It can get reused for other projects. But I'm sitting here looking at the time that somebody took to do what I do, which is to predominantly hand sew, and the quality of their stitchwork, which is just lovely to see. And if we haven't been given the opportunity to learn those skills growing up, then we have lost out on something very important as a life skill. And we've lost out on something really important in terms of our relationship with the things in our lives, because again, in that throwaway mindset, or even in the recycle mindset, we don't value the things in our lives. Packaging, it's incredible. I have always felt really strongly around, like, how can I reduce the amount of packaging? Or if I do have packaging, is there ways in which I can reuse it for other projects? And living where I do, the options are unfortunately even more limited. And the mindset is just so incredibly different that it takes even more effort on my part to stick to what I know is really important to both promote and also live by. Anyway, that's a whole other sets of videos. So this idea of, making use of your, for example, fabrics that are in your life and repurposing them. Repurposing is so very incredibly important to gain as a skill. So, even if it's just something small that you can begin to do in your household around repurposing, I really encourage you to do that. It doesn't have to be huge projects. You don't have to take on making your wardrobe at all. I'm not suggesting that you necessarily take up a new skill in that way, but definitely finding the small ways that you can repurpose the textiles and fabrics in your life. turn things into cloths or towels that you can use in your kitchen, or in your bathroom, or even, cleaning rags. Um, Turn them into small bags. It doesn't take much to create a bag that you can then take as your shopping bag or use to store your vegetables with. Um, that's the kind of thing to begin to start in terms of projects. Start small and challenge yourself to learn a stitch, simple stitches. Take up a needle and thread, and you might be surprised with how creative you can be.